Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. Pleased to be joined by my lipstickless wife. She just said to me, I don't have any lipstick on, Hondo. Good to have you with me, sweetheart. Listen, Raider Nation's frustrated. Raider Nation is, and it's not fair to Pete because he's only been here 3 games, but it's the reality of decades of futility. And let's go. Let's answer some questions today.
You know, that shirt my mom sent me a picture of is very...
Oh, tell Raider Nation about this. So her mother's buying her a shirt. Tell them about this shirt from your mom.
Well, it's 3 heartbeats of a Raider fan. The first one is a normal heartbeat. The second one is a flat line. And the third one's literally like all over the place. It looks like a big bowl of spaghetti. And I just laughed and sent it to Hondo. And I was like, this is so appropriate for fans. Pretty funny.
All right. Let's fire away.
All right. First off, Hondo, I'm going to ask a tough question. And if you can't answer on the podcast, please email me back. Is the controversy over Tom Brady being in the booth with the headset legit? I am a fan, so I call BS, but I respect you or not, and I think that you would answer fairly. Peter H.
All right. Let me just say a couple of things. I get a lot of these since you probably can't answer. Okay. First of all, if I don't know you and then A and then B trust you, I'm not going to answer any of your questions that I wouldn't answer in a podcast.
Right.
So don't ask me for private responses because you're not going to get them. Is it BS? Well, here is what I would say to you. Antonio Pierce has came out and said he gave us information. What is wrong with you?
I just like looking. Yeah. While you're talking about Raiders. Keep going. What?
Okay.
Maybe my heartbeat's going off.
Well, I see what Roanne does with all of our reels where you make faces at me when I'm looking at them.
You're not supposed to watch.
I don't, but people will send them to me. I had one of the players send me one of you, and I'm talking, and you're like,
That's what's so funny. Because sometimes I'm like, especially when you're like, oh.
and you know what player I'm talking about. Sent it because his wife.
That's even funnier.
I said to him, did she send this to Shannon? And all he put back was LOL.
Didn't need to.
All right. So anyways, Antonio Pierce has already came out and said he's given us information. Ouch. But, I mean, it wasn't like it was, Antonio didn't clarify, was it, what kind of information it was. But here's the deal. Tom Brady is a lightning rod. It comes with being the GOAT. But he also has Deflategate. And he's been with the Patriots. And so he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt. Tony Dungy, going to get the benefit of the doubt. I get it right there. But not Tom Brady. And so is it a big deal? Well, I'll just say this to you. I don't think it's a big deal at all for the Raiders. I think it's a very big deal for the rest of the NFL. And I had a NFL person tell me this week. He said the biggest deal is for Fox Sports. Because he goes, nobody's going to give him truthful information.
Right.
And he goes, because they know they have to suspect he's either going to tell the Raiders or his buddies at other teams. So to me, I think this is a nothing burger for Raider Nation, a monster burger for Fox. And could it be if Tom was trying to tell coaches during games how to do stuff? Oh, that's not going to fly. That's going to go over like a turd in a punch bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have any reason to believe that's what's going on. So I think it's a big deal for Fox, but nobody else.
All right. All right. So we have a bunch that are actually on the same subject. So I'm going to read some in a row and let you answer.
So there's multiples.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all football?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Uncle Hondo, one word, JPJ, your friends from across the pond, Lear and Natalie Evans.
Yeah, our friends from Wales. All right, we're going to answer this. If JPJ was the answer, when all 5 of the linemen are not performing well, so you're only fixing 20% of a sinking ship. And he's coming off a concussion on a short week. He had not participated in any physical practices. They were trying to protect him. Now, you can make the argument if you're trying to protect him, why dress him? That's a fair question. But I do not, and this is not because I think JPJ is a bad player. I told you, I think he's going to be a really good player. But that offensive line in totality was terrible, and replacing one player was not going to fix it.
Hi, Uncle Hondo. The Raiders' O-line seems to be struggling with the blocking schemes. Chip Kelly said he would put players in a position to use their talents and mask their deficiencies. You also mentioned you thought JPJ struggling with calling the right protections might have been a reason he was moved.
Stop. I never said that. I never said JPJ struggled with calling the right protections. Period. Never said that. Keep going.
A reason he was moved to guard and Jordan Meredith was moved to center. Could they move JPJ back to center, but have Meredith call the protections from the guard spot? Also, any chance Kelly brings in a fullback to lead block for Ginty as well as chip edge rushers with Mayer sideline? We need to find a way to open some holes for Ginty and Gino, a solid pocket. Thank you, JP Laura. Another one.
Hang on, I'm gonna answer that one. So we'll just take a couple things. You're not going to let your guard call the formations. That's not the way offensive lines are run. They're loud. You've got to have it coming from the center of the line. Plus, the center is looking for other things. I would anticipate that you're going to see Jordan Meredith stay there because they want an authentic, athletic offensive line. He's more athletic. There's going to be a learning curve. They know that. They're willing to accept that, obviously, heretofore. We'll see if that changes on Sunday. But and let me just say, I think there were definite issues that they had with JPJ. That's clear. I have no problem with that. But I never once said it was calling protections. I never once heard that from them as a concern with JPJ. Let's just make sure that's really clear.
All right. Hello, Uncle Hondo. This is El Blow from Vegas. The O-line is regressing. I thought that they kept Joe Philbin on the staff because Pete's son is not getting the job. My question is it too early to look for an O-line coaching change?
Who are you going to replace him with? It's the middle of the season. Euler. Joe Philbin's there too, by the way. Joe Philbin is actively participating. Could they switch Joe and Brennan? Yeah, it could. Do I expect it? No. But if you want to start firing people, see, this is the question nobody ever asks. Okay, if firing the person was the answer, how many coaches have the Raiders fired?
Exactly.
How many general managers have the Raiders fired? No one wants to ask, okay, who are you going to replace him with? So Shannon and I have a very, very good friend who's a very successful athletic director, college athletic director. And he always laughs when fans say, fire the coach. What is that?
Dexter?
Was that Dexter?
He's doing something.
Is he driving a semi-truck? Wow. All right. He's up on the second floor, and I don't even. I don't know what he's doing. All right, driving a four-wheeler. And anyways, and he always says, "Okay, who are you going to replace him with? How are you going to find somebody better than the guy you got?" I ask you that, Raider Nation. It's 3 games. You all should be pissed. You all should be mad. You all should be disappointed. She is, but it's 3 games. You think Pete Carroll isn't sitting there pissed? Oh, no. Come on. The answer to everything isn't, let's just go fire somebody else. I preach every year because it seems like they change the coach every year. The only consistency with the Raiders is inconsistency. They have to build consistency. Go Hondo. You're right. That's right. Finally, we got and then 3 games. Fire him.
I think you're getting a little wound up. The camera looks a little foggy.
Is it?
Looks like it.
Well, they better fix that.
There, you are getting a little.
Or maybe you're just a little hot. Giggity. But who are you gonna replace him with? I mean, come on now. Oh, now.
It's true.
3 games. Uno, dos, tres.
Cuatro, cinco, seis.
No. We're not cuatro,
No,
cinco, seis.
here's
It's
the
uno, dos, tres. We're 3 games.
gotta give somebody longer than a year.
21 games. Well, not an assistant, but you got to give head coaches 21.
For sure. All right, ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
I read the first line.
Oh, no.
Hondo,
You're fat and stupid.
the offensive line is putrid.
Oh,
This
is what
getting worse.
this is what's hard for me is how much I love the offensive line. And not just the Raiders. I just love offensive line. They ain't lying.
No, I know, but
I don't agree with all. All right, start.
okay. The offensive line has been putrid in every game this year and seem to be getting worse. While they weren't great last year, they're seemingly regressing even more. Pete Carroll's son is the offensive line coach, and that presents an issue for the entire organization. Should he be demoted or replaced, and how do you think that would affect the organization as a whole? Mike Peterson from the Villages of Florida.
All right. So let's address this. By the way, the Village is a great place to live. I wouldn't want to live in Florida because I don't want the humidity, but that's a great place. The Villages is wonderful. So let me say this, first of all. I agree that when you look at the game and the Commanders, the offensive line went completely backwards. It wasn't 1, it wasn't 2, it wasn't 3, 4, or 5. Well, yeah, it was 5. Well, it went completely backwards. I thought in game 1, the line was stacked, so I did not think the offensive line was bad. In game 2, I didn't think they were good until I went back and watched the tape. I still didn't think they were great in game 2. I thought they were worse in game 2 than in game 1, so that would be regression. So I agree with that, but I didn't think they were horrible. Your quote of they were putrid last week, that's being generous. And you know how hard that is for me to say, but it's the truth. I mean, you can't put lipstick on a turd and call it a beauty queen.
That's true.
I mean, it is what it is. It was putrid. If the Raiders offensive line had been arrested Sunday after that game for being an NFL offensive line, there would not have been enough evidence to convict them. There were a few plays that they were good, but maybe 20% of the plays did you see the 5 of them working. Even a couple that were good, there was mistakes. It was just a bad performance. 3 games in.
Mm-hmm. Hondo, after free agency, you said the Raiders won the offseason. Do you still feel the same, or should they have spent some money on the O line? And is this a GM mistake not to spend some money on the O line? Thanks for your time, Ali from Oakland, California.
Great question, Ali. And
or maybe it's Ali. It's ALI.
Okay, Ali or Ali, whichever one. Thanks for your email. Couple of things here. I did say they won the offseason, and I didn't mean that they won against all 32 teams. To me, winning the offseason is you come into the next year better than you were the last. Okay, and they are a better team. I know right now you may not believe it, but I'm telling you, if you went back, they are. You don't have to believe that. I do. And so I hold that line there. I absolutely, when you come in with tens of millions of dollars in cap space you don't use. Heck yes. That's a general manager's job. Now, I'm going to give Spytech a break here on one point. I believe a lot of this year was coming in and learning what they had. So let's come in, let's evaluate everything we have, let's get our own evaluations, and then move forward. I think part of that is their thinking, but I certainly felt like there was more they could have done. I complained that they didn't sign Spillane. I have numerous times, but there were other things they could have done too. So, but they were convinced after they watched the film that they wanted to ride with this and see what they had. I can tell you right now, unequivocally, they are looking for other linemen right now. We'll just leave it right there. But they are. And they're going to absolutely not rest until they get Raider Nation the line that they need.
Okay. Hi, Hendo. Here we are, third week into the season, and it feels like we're right back where we were last year at this time. Unfortunately, it seems like our O line is not working out as hoped. I have my doubts about Brennan Carroll's capability as a coach for this critical position. His lack of experience and success in this role is quite concerning, especially when we still have Joe Philbin on our staff. As the team insider with close sources, I was wondering if anyone has brought this issue to your attention. Is Pete, with all his vast experience, not noticing these issues, or is he perhaps viewing things through a father's eyes rather than a boss's? I've heard you mention before that the Raiders are not a team to experiment with a young head coach. Shouldn't the same principle apply to a position coach for such a vital part of the offense? Thanks for your time and insight. Have a great day, Miguel. That's a great question.
It's a great question, Miguel. So a couple of things I would say is Pete Carroll is the consummate professional. I do not believe Pete Carroll would hesitate for 1 second to fire his son if he felt like that was in the best interest of the Raiders. I'm not trying to kiss Pete's butt. I know every time I compliment somebody, people say either Hondo loves him or Hondo hates him. I'm just telling you, that's not the Pete Carroll that I know. I also know he's an incredibly devoted father. And so if it were coming to that, it would be torturous for him.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It would be for me. Can you imagine if I had to fire one of our children?
It'd be very difficult.
I would do it for the good of our company, but I don't believe that someone asked me on a radio show, do you think that Pete Carroll hired Brennan because it was his son? Of course I do. But that doesn't mean Brennan's not a good coach.
Right.
I
He's
mean,
capable of
I've
doing
got to tell you guys, I went and did my research when this hire was made because everybody knows the respect Joe Philbin has in this league. Joe Philbin is one of the best offensive line coaches in the National Football League. And I talked with a ton of people. Brennan Carroll didn't have to leave Washington. People at Washington were mad he left. Brennan Carroll, if he wanted to leave Washington, could have gone to just about any college that he wanted to go to. He could have went to other NFL teams. So everybody around the league, and Shannon can tell you, we know a ton of people at a ton of teams. And they would tell us, because there have been decisions the Raiders have made that they're like, what are they thinking? That doesn't make any sense. That said, I don't think Pete would hesitate if he felt like firing Brennan was the answer. I think it would wound him. But I'm also going to tell you this. Brennan Carroll said, I would not have left Washington except that it was to go be with my dad. I have no problem. My father in business used to love to hire his best employees' kids. And he used to love it. Nepotism. Okay, but did you hear what I said? The best employees. Because the best employees are going to tell their kids, you're going to make me look bad. And those kids were raised with that work ethic. I mean, I think one of the reasons, there are many reasons why you and I absolutely love each other, but we have a matching work ethic. And we were raised by our parents were like, no, you're going to have a work ethic. You're not going to live in this house and be lazy. So I have zero issue with people hiring their kids as long as their kids can do the job. And when Pete hired his son, I mean, I'm the one that broke the story before he ever took the job, that people around the NFL were saying he was going to bring his kids. And I can tell you that everyone assured me about respect for Brennan Carroll. Now, Joe Philbin's still involved. So it's not like Joe Philbin's sitting in a corner like Telly Savalas eating a sucker. I don't think anybody gets that reference. If you get that reference, bonus point. But the point is that I think Pete would do it in a heartbeat. And I'll tell you this, if I felt he had to be fired, I would say it in a heartbeat. I have before. I remember one particular time I had been riding a Raider assistant coach pretty hard, and Shannon came up to me and she said to me, I don't remember I don't remember what the exact question was, but I had told you how they had asked me kind of back off on that coach a little bit, not ride him so hard. You're like, no, and I'm like, Shannon, yeah, I wouldn't. If I thought Brennan, it was time to fire Brennan, I would say it. I don't think that. It's 3 games on a team that was not going to go to the playoffs. Regression, absolute time for concern. Not denying it, but not that. Good.
All right. My name is Erin G, and I have a detailed question for you today that revolves around my overall concern with the offensive line and the coaching staff. I'm questioning the staff's I'm questioning, sorry, here I am reading what's written down. The staff's decisions because we have struggled to run the ball, and during the game they had arguably one of our most talented linemen, JPJ, on the sideline. However, it stretches beyond that. We have Alex starting, even though he missed a lot of training camp and has struggled those 2 games. We have Dylan Parham regressing, DJ Glaze regressing, Thayer Munford regressed earlier in the year and was cut before the season, and Meredith at center has looked shaky. Will Pete Carroll have a conversation with his son, the O-line coach, about the production this line has had? Or do you believe it's something John Spytek would have to come down and speak with Pete Carroll about his son's questionable coaching decisions and schematics for the O-line? Do you think Spytek would urge Pete to make a change and have Joe Philbin take charge of coaching the O-line? Thank you for all your work and your coverage for our woeful Raiders.
Who's that from?
Aaron G.
Okay, so Aaron, let me just say this. General managers and coaches talk all the time. But any coach worth his salt is going to have total control of his staff and should. If I was a candidate for a coaching job and like I just got done reading John Madden's biography that John wrote. If y'all need to go read John Madden's biography. And I was reading in there how Al Davis hired the staff. And how literally John Madden got sick because of it and drank Pepto-Bismol by the bottle daily. I'm just going to tell you right now, any coach that's ever, and this is throughout the NFL, any coach where the GM says, we're going to pick your staff, don't take the job. You're getting hired to get fired. But some guys get desperate. And so they so badly want to be a head coach, or they are so convinced they're not going to get their chance that they'll jump at a bad chance. Okay. Do I think John Spytek is going to question every part of the team? Yes. And he should. He's a general manager.
Exactly.
And him and Pete have a good enough relationship that there may be something John sees that Pete doesn't.
Right.
But John Spytek's not going to walk in that office and say, fire your son. He's going to trust Pete with his staff. Now, do I think if Pete needed to make staff changes after the year that John Spytek wouldn't make his opinion known? Of course. I'm a boss. If I have employees that aren't doing their job effectively, I would go to them and say, hey, if this doesn't change, I'm going to have to fire you. But no, he's not going to go in there and demand it. And that's not going to happen. But I'm telling you, almost every organization, 99% of them, and in college, the ADs go in weekly and meet with the coaches. There's constant discussions. I can tell you, and I have not been in the room, there are discussions going on the offensive line with the Raiders.
All right. Not saying it's a nepotism hire, but at what point is Pete's son on the hot seat? Talent, not as bad as the coaching. Plus, morale looks horrible. Ian Brown.
Well, Ian, I'm there. I know the players. I have no idea what you're talking about. Morale looks bad because that locker room after the game on Sunday, they were all mad at themselves. So I don't know where that's coming from, but that's not reality. Morale is not bad. Frustration for sure, but that's not bad. Stress is bad. Pressure's not. That said, if you hire somebody who's qualified, I mean, we've already established. Brennan said he wouldn't have come if it wasn't for his dad. So if you say it was a nepotistic hire, well, yeah, I want to work with my sons.
Right.
I mean, we act like that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if they're qualified. We've already established in our research that Brennan's a qualified coach, and we're 3 games in. Some of y'all be like, hey, I've been married to you 3 days, and it hasn't been, day 3 wasn't perfect. You've regressed. I'm firing. You would have fired me like 3 minutes after we were married.
Taking that. It would have taken a little longer than that. Just kidding. We're going strong, baby. You're stuck with me forever.
And you haven't even been drinking. And I know, but
Water.
all right, but so I mean, I understand we're laughing and people are frustrated. I'm not trying to make light of it because I'm
No,
frustrated.
but you have to. You got to let go a little better. I mean, it's
But
game 3. You don't want to live the rest of the
it's 3
season
games.
in anger.
Okay, if they go beat Chicago on Sunday, which they could, they're now 2-2, which is where I predicted them to be. So, but man, that offensive line.
We're not disagreeing that it
No.
needs help. But...
All right, let's go.
Okay. Hondo, good day. Any update on how Aiden is coming along with his rehab?
Oh, are we done with those same questions?
Yes.
Okay.
And regarding what the Raiders will do when Aiden comes off of IR as far as their quarterback room. If not, do you have an opinion? And if so, can you share it? Thanks. Mark Judge from Washington, but he was born in Oakland.
Yeah, I saw Aiden the other day, chatted with him briefly. It wasn't a long talk, but briefly. But, I think he's looking good. And, yeah, he's working, doing everything that he can to get back. And when he gets back, I would expect him to move to the 53-man roster.
Awesome. All right, Hondo. I am sick about my Raiders. I mean, literally sick. Please comfort me somehow. I feel like we're proverbial cursed, and I am in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, I know. I was saying.
Kurt M.
All right, Kurt. So let me just say this, okay? First of all, the sporting team that you root for should not bring sickness into your home, okay? And so you should care. I do this for a living. I'm not a fan. I care. I know most of these guys. Many of them we call friends. But to bring sickness into your home, and you said, you're not kidding.
He said he's cursed.
And I want you to know, Shannon and I absolutely believe in curses. They're real. And our life we come at life from a biblical worldview, and the Bible is clear that there's a curse. But I would tell you that take a very deep breath. You can be disappointed. You can root for your team. You can love your team. But if it's literally bringing sickness to you, then I would reprioritize my life.
Good advice.
And so that would be my number 1 point to you. Number 2, though, I would say to you, if you're looking for something to be encouraged about, Pete Carroll is a great coach. His resume proves it. And so he's the best coach you've had in the 6 years I've covered it. I think the organization, when you go back and look, I've said this the last 2 days. I mean, Geno Smith sacked 5 times, 3 touchdowns, 19 of 29. So he's roughly 66% completion rate. No interceptions. Running for his life the entire day. Christian Genti was able to create some stuff. I mean, the special teams was bad. The offensive line was bad. Defense had some bad plays, but I don't think the defense was horrific. Again, there were things I didn't like, but some of that was they're coming off the field and bam, the 3 and out, offense is off the field. Here comes the defense back out, no chance to get a blow. So the offense didn't have the ball that long. I think it was 56 plays or something like that, 58 plays, 57 plays, something like that. So I would just say it's 3 games. This is where people after week 1, Hondo, we're a playoff team, change your prediction. No, they're not a playoff team. And you're seeing why. But enjoy the process. Some of y'all need to remember how much the offseason sucks. with no football.
Mhm.
It's horrible. I mean, it's just you lay in bed at night and visions of football roll around in your head. Max coming out of a 4-point stance. AJ Cole booming another punt. Brock Bowers going up with an athletic catch. I mean, Adam Butler filling the gap. Isaiah Palomao moving and making a great play. I mean, come on, people. And you lay in bed and you dream of those moments and just say, 3 months till football's back, and 4 months till football's back. And then one day it's here, and you're 3 weeks in, and you're like, enjoy it.
Excuse me. I enjoy football, but you lay in bed and dream about football with me next to you? You lay. Wow.
Okay, do you want me to say
We're
something?
gonna have a discussion when we're done with this podcast about that.
Okay, she's Czechoslovakian. This is you when I'm sleeping.
Really? As if you don't snore.
She
too,
sounds
but
like a rhinoceros when you're beautiful, but
we are having a conversation.
okay. But I mean, you remember those nights when you lay in bed and you turn on NFL Network just to watch a game and you don't care if it's from 74 years ago and it's just good? It's 3 games. Frustration is legit, and I think you should be. I think you have every right to be, but it's been 3 games.
I'm concerned about
Honey, they can't hear you. What do
I
you
was whispering. Can we please move on to the next question? Let's get off of that. What you think about it, Mint. Hondo, your podcast yesterday may have been the best podcast I've ever heard from you or anyone on the game of football. I have to go listen to that inside joke. I love to listen to you teach and explain the game I love, and I can say that you have taught me well, Professor Carpenter. Kristen, it was Brady. Impressed.
Thank you, Kristen. I don't know what day she sent it, so I don't know what podcast she was talking about, but thank you so much. I love to teach the game of football. I remember when I learned about keeping your shins in front of your ankles. One of the deepest truths about the offensive line, and I remember watching that film of that game, and I've watched it a lot. But one of the things about watching the film of that game, Kristen, was I saw a few times when guys' shins got behind their ankles or parallel with your ankle and you can't keep leverage. And the shin is so important in the game of, especially the offensive line. And
I'm just listening, Professor Carpenter.
stop. But the shin is one of the most important parts of the human body for line play in offense or defense. And when you understand the value of a shin, and I just remember learning that, and I'm like, and I remember Turf Kaufman, Coach Turf Kaufman, God bless you, Turf, love you, my brother. But Bob Turf Kaufman teaching me about the shin bone being in front of the ankle, and just and my mind exploded with the opportunity of thinking back, and so football is a great game, and it is art, and people will fly to France to go to the Louvre, or they'll fly around America and go to the best museums, and we enjoy them. We love to go. But every time, whether it's a kids flag pee-wee football game or the Super Bowl, every time you put on a game of football, it is a learning experience. It is like opening a book of knowledge, and you can read it and watch it. And when you learn to not watch football, but to study football, whoa, it's a great thing. So thank you. That's a really good compliment.
Awesome. Hondo, your podcast on Monday was super. You didn't spend any time on special teams. So was it better or worse than you thought initially? Nathan B.
Worse.
Or are you commenting? Okay. Hondo, I've read and watched you since you began covering the Raiders. But on Monday, you earned my respect. You called the team out on Sunday, and after watching the film, did it again on Monday. Didn't think you would. LaDonna A. from Manchester, New York.
Now I know 2 LaDonnas.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be her, because that's not her last name. But anyways, hi LaDonna. I know another LaDonna. I can't believe there's 2. So I appreciate that. I'm never afraid to call out the team. It's just there are a lot of people that want me to make it personal. I'm not going to do that. That is not who I am as a human. It's not the character of which I run my life. You can be critical of someone's job performance without making it personal. And I think I do call out people a lot, but I'm glad you noticed it here. And it had to be called out. And I'm going to go one step further. Sunday's game, if you didn't see Tuesday's podcast, please go watch Tuesday's podcast. Because I just lay it on the line. The Raiders are playing the Raiders. This is all about pride. This is all about pride. You know, I'm going to say this to you. There are times as a husband when you fail and you got to go back to your wife because she's not my slave. She's not my employee. She's my partner. She's my helpmate. She's God's gift to me. I always say this. The Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains the favor of the Lord. So I always tell Shannon she's my good thing. I had a shirt made that says I love my good thing. And there are times I've had to go back to Shannon and said, you know what, I messed this up. I handled this wrong. Will you forgive me? and I've had to call myself out. I have never met, well, that's not true. I've met one football player. Okay, two. I just thought of another one who didn't like legitimate criticism. But most are like, yeah, you didn't make it personal. You were fair. I remember one time I was a young journalist and I had to call a quarterback out. And there I am the next day in the locker room. He called me over. He put his hand out and I said, what's that for? He said, because I really appreciated the fact that you told the truth about how I played, but you literally told people he's a hard worker. He's got a great work ethic. He's going to fix it. He goes, thank you for pointing out the personal side. Mm-hmm. And you know what? The next week he did. I real quick, had a TV show in Michigan, and I was going on air to call for a coach to be fired. So I call a coach. I said, hey, coach, it's Hondo. What are you doing? I said, you got a minute? Can I come by the house? Sure, come on over. I went over to his house, and I said, I don't want you to hear this, because him and his family all watch my show. I don't want you to hear this on TV when everyone else hears it, but I think that the line's been tipped, and it's time to make a change, and I'm going to call for a change. He got up. Give me a hug. God bless you, man, for coming to look me in the face and tell me to my face. I am never afraid to call people out. But I'm not going to go personal. Now, if it's personal, why you're calling them out, you have to. But that's just, there's no need for it. I literally cringe. Brennan Carroll sucks as a coach. No, he doesn't. He was a great coach at Washington, made a ton of money, highly respected, could have went to any college that he wanted to. Was his offensive line bad on Sunday? Yes, but the players had something to do with that. I mean, let's not think it was all him. And it's 3 games. And you may say, nope, I've seen enough. Brennan Carroll sucks. Okay. I don't want Brennan Carroll's. Okay, that's fine. We don't have to make it personal.
That's exactly what the next one is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go there.
It literally says it.
We don't even read the questions till we.
Hondo, I just want Brennan Carroll fired. He sucks. William from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
So you know him. You know him. Not, I don't think he's good at his job. I just want him fired. Okay. So they fire Brennan Carroll. It's going to have the same players. So, and Joe Philbin's involved. So what? You just want him fired. So what if the special teams don't get better?
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you this story because it fits this. When Shannon and I got married, I love my bride. She was not the greatest cook in the whole entire world. She is today. She's phenomenal. She grew. Can you imagine with that one first steak you made me?
Good.
It literally, if you went to a Goodwill and bought a Nike shoe from 1979 that 300 people had run 300 marathons in, the rubber on the bottom of it would have tasted better than the steak. It was brutally bad. And now this woman can cook anything. She's a phenomenal cook. I would hope that you would say I'm a better husband today than when we got married. Is that true?
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's game 3. And if you say, hey, I don't like the Brennan Carroll hire, I'm okay with that. That's part of being a professional coach. Some people are going to like, just like in journalism. Hondo, I don't like you as a journalist. Okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I can live with that, but you don't have to make it personal. Let's go.
Not football.
All right. Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Following questions have nothing to do with football. So you're not allowed to bitch, moan, or complain. And if you do, we don't care. We read one email that has nothing to do with football each and every week. Go ahead.
It's supposed to only be one, but every week we get 2.
We got to fix that. All right, because there's 2 today, I guess. So go ahead.
Uncle Hondo, I'm going to college to be a sports journalist, and you have had a terrific and significant impact on that career choice.
Oh
Can
my
you give
God.
me some advice? Yvette C.
Yvette, we're hearing from a lot of ladies tonight.
Mhm.
I think Yvette is a female name. Is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Don't ever set out to be popular. Be genuine. Be real. If you have to be fake to gain followers, then you've given away who you are. Shannon will tell you, I love the game of football. I call her the first day of training camp every year, and I always tell her the same thing. I miss the smell of football. You go that entire months with no football, and you step in the first day, and that smell is just better than any cologne in the world. It's like, wow, football's back. Football's back. It's back. And I get to do this for a living. And it's just, every time, I usually just stop, bow my head, and I just thank the Lord for my job. And then I call Shannon but you know what? There are people who don't like my way of reporting. That's okay. They're not bad people because they don't like Honda. But if I have to change who I am to get them to like me, then I spend my life being fake. I get people that'll say, don't ever reference God. I don't want to hear you talk about God. Okay, well, I can't not reference him. He's the source of all the blessing. I'm not lucky. I'm blessed. Or they'll say, don't talk about Shannon. Well, I'm sorry. Shannon is half of me. Quite frankly, she's everything that's good in my life. And I can't not talk about Shannon. She is, other than Christ, she's the single most important part of my life. I don't know how to live and not talk about her. I love her. And okay, don't talk about your wife. Okay, then I won't. But don't watch the podcast. I don't talk about her much in my writing. But she's on this podcast because fans requested it. And I'm going to talk about you. I'm proud of you. I hear men all the time, and I don't like to be friends with men who talk poorly about their wives. I love my wife. I enjoy my wife. She's my best friend. We tease each other. We laugh with each other. We disagree with each other. I mean, but Yvette, if you have to change who you are, okay. So for example, I hate soccer. I hate soccer. I literally just hate soccer. Okay. So early in my career, I had to cover soccer, and I did. I hated it. I didn't try to pretend like I loved it. I covered it. I studied it. I wanted to learn it so I could do a good job. But be who you are. Be genuine. Don't be fake. Be genuine. I heard it said once, and I don't remember who said it. I don't remember if it was, I don't remember. But they talked about don't die a cheap copy when God made you to be a magnificent original. Just be you, Yvette. And the best piece of advice is be you. Be genuine. Be real. People don't like genuine in our world. There's a lot of people that prefer synthetic to authentic. And then learn to appreciate others who are genuine. I don't have to agree with people. Shannon and I have great friends that we disagree with vehemently politically, spiritually. And they're great friends who we love. We love. I would rather be around genuine people
Right.
than fake. So be genuine. And remember this, the Bible says your gift makes room for itself. Don't let people tell you, well, there isn't very many jobs in that field. If that's your gift, it'll make room for itself.
Sure.
All right. You said 2. Let's go.
Hondo and Shannon, I love your advice on parenting. Just found out we are pregnant, and since you have like 10 kids, can you give us some great advice? Scott and Carol P. from California. Close.
We don't have 10, but close. I'm going to give you the best piece of advice in the world, and it's 2-part. Being a dad, I'll talk to the dad, you talk to the mom. Is that fair?
Mhm.
Dads, you set the tone for your home. You want to love your kids, and you love their mama. Love their mama fiercely. Protect her, cherish her, love her, because your sons will learn how to love their wife by watching you, and your daughters are going to pick a guy like you. Love their mama. And the first one is more important than that. Love the Lord with your whole heart, every single part of it. Because when you do, then you can love their mom the way she needs to be loved. I hope that's good advice. That's been how I have tried to live in our marriage. I know I haven't always done it, but I hope that I was giving truthful advice of what I try to do.
Mhm.
And I guess this is part of loving them. We pray every day.
Mhm.
I travel all over the country. And when I travel, it's usually 5:30 in the morning or whenever. We're up on the phone together, and we pray for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour every day together, every single day. We pray for you guys every single day. Do we or do we not?
We do.
Every day we pray for all of you. And so just be genuine and buddy, love their mama, man. Love her. Love her, love her, love her, love her. Okay, go ahead. What advice do you have for her?
Let dad be dad. And if you disagree, never disagree in front of your children. Go take them aside. The other piece of that is men are not typically nurturing by nature. So don't just nurture. Let that piece. So you're gonna see now they get to see your faces. Yeah, it's a man thing. Men don't.
I'm a nurturer.
We'll talk about that off screen too. No.
I nurtured Dexter.
Can you
I'm
just
sorry. Okay.
men are not by nature nurturers. Not especially like a mom. I am very nurturing, and Hondo's
Oh,
always
yeah.
like, "Why do you do that? What? Let the boy do this, or let the boy do." And I'm like, "Can you? I don't fight you when you try to be the dad. Don't fight me when I try to be the mom. Like, don't give up that nurturing part because they have to have your children have to have both sides. That's how
So
they learn all of it.
I potty trained Dexter. It took me a day, maybe. Shannon, you really? I'm being completely truthful. You don't wait. No, I'm being serious.
You're good.
No, I don't want to lie to him. You really don't think I potty trained Dexter?
I think it was a group effort between the two of us. No, you did not potty train Dexter all the way by yourself.
All right. So now
When I went to work, I told you what to do and you did it.
okay. That's not accurate, but okay.
Sorry.
You're misremembering. But let me just say this to you. He's a little older now. And without getting specific, he doesn't want to sit down all the time. He wants to be like daddy. And I'm like, sweet, let's go.
Yeah.
Mom is like, no, please, no, sit down. We actually had that tonight. He's like, I got to go potty. All right, hurry up, go in there. She's like, no, sit. He goes, no, I big like daddy. No, you're not. Don't say anything else. I know what you're going to say next. But anyways, so that'd be our best to you is kids are great. Start young, have a ton of them. And a lot of people say, well, we're waiting to have kids till you can afford it. Then you'll never have them.
Yes. And then, or when you do have kids, you pour everything into the kids. You forget who your partner is. And then your kids leave the house and you're like, who in the heck is this stranger I'm living
Listen,
with?
we love Dexter, but Dexter will tell you, he didn't compare.
We are each other's number one before him.
Yeah, we love Dexter, but he don't compare to Mama. And guess what? To me, Mama don't compare to Christ.
Yeah.
And guess what?
supposed to be like that.
I don't compare to Christ to her either.
Mm-hmm.
When I asked her to marry me, I said, one rule. Promise me you'll never love me more than Jesus. Is Dexter right there? I thought he would. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. See you again soon.